This is Elisa Reyes, and you're listening to Deeper Than Music.
Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song is a greater story.
Deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music. Deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest. It's deeper than music. Deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music. Deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest. It's deeper than music. Deeper than music.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, where you are in the world. Deeper than music, behind every great song, there's an even greater story. Not only do we interview musicians, we also interview actors, filmmakers. Last episode, we had a great time with Harley Wallen, part of Painted Creek Productions. And today we have the other half, Kaiti Wallen. She's also an actress. She's been in movies such as Enigma, Bennett Song, External Code, Obtruse, and she's also in the Tubi Series, Taleoftales. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Kaiti Wallen here on Deeper Than Music Radio. How you doing?
Great, thank you, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. One thing that was on your biography that I wanted to ask about, because actually my fiance, she's into essential oils. I wasn't a believer until I got sick one time, and I'm gonna say that eucalyptus is, man, the best. Is it I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Myomassologist. It's muscle therapy.
Okay.
Yeah. Myomassologist. It's muscle therapy. It's the medical terminology of what you would know as a massage therapist, but we do much more than just massage. We incorporate medical practices that we are taught that have shown benefit, and along with essential oils and all that fun stuff.
Wow. So not just an actress and a mother. And my next question is, how did you start? I know that you modeled as a young age. Did you always know that you wanted to be involved in entertainment, modeling and
Funny thing is, no, I didn't. It's just kind of so my first experience ever was when I was about 11 years old, and my mom signed us up for one of those J.C. Penney kind of runway shows for kids to wear like bright the flower girl dresses and the fancy clothing for these runway shows, right? So we signed up for one time, and oh my gosh, it was the coolest experience. And I remember that being little. Me and my two little sisters were a part of it. And nothing for a while, but then my older sister, she is involved in the filmmaking industry as well. She is a producer, but she went to school out in California. Both were from Detroit. So she would come back in the summer, and she would make her films, her short films that she needed to do for school. And me being her little sister, I was her tag along. Like, she had me help her with signing people in for auditions, and being the extra holding a pumpkin in the background, to having a short film about me singing, which I can't sing, right? And I'm like 13 years old in this thing. And I don't know, like, there's been a lot of things that have, I've been lucky enough to have happen to me with this industry, where I'm just like, oh, this is so cool, and no idea whatsoever,
Wow. And man, so it went from that to acting. And do you come from, so besides your sister, is your family normally involved in the arts and entertainment, or is it just you and your sister?
No, I don't want to say that they're not, but they're very creative people, and they do things differently, and we just so happen to fall into the entertainment industry. They're all doing their thing, and whether it's through creative, or my dad is, he owns his own company, and he has for years. My mom is a midwife, so you can kind of see where some things can just be, we all come from a different spot,
Yeah. Wow. And for modeling, did it transition into you getting acting gigs? How did that all come?
Well, what's funny is, so that happened, but then when I was about 18, I started working in the bar industry here, and in the Metro Detroit area.
Okay.
I worked at 3 or 4 different clubs, but as you know, most of that industry is a lot of people that are in all different kinds of industries that come together in this, right?
Yeah.
So it's been kind of funny how it's kind of bounced its way back in. But when I was about 18, 19 years old, I knew I wanted to do something, but what I was familiar with was the photographers that we had here in the Metro Detroit area. So
Okay.
I've worked with people like David Anderson. He's a well-known photographer here, but even globally. I mean, he's done a lot of good things, and it's just funny how, like, you know, you just kind of magnetize towards each other. And he was one of the people that I've been working with for quite a while now, and doing that. And you know, eventually I met my husband.
Yeah.
And I know, right? And then he was getting back into acting, and I was like, well, shoot, I remember doing acting stuff, so let's like see what this does, you know, see where this takes us. So it's been an exciting journey ever since, really.
Yeah, because I was impressed with talking to him and then doing research on both of you guys and your production company. What's interesting is in the Midwest, you know, when we think film, we think TV, everybody thinks Los Angeles. And he educated me on the Midwest and Detroit and how they have a union, and how I guess he saw the need to, like, okay, I formed this company and we can create that demand. And he was saying that most of the stuff there was like, I don't want to say like standing stuff, but can you further expand on like the film industry within Detroit?
Well, okay, so as far as Detroit's film industry, since the incentives were taken away from Michigan, we're talking, I want to say that was like 2006. What was that? 2000? I can't remember, but it wasn't that long ago. It was like 7 or 8 years ago, I want to say. So at that time, there were plenty of big productions coming in here, and we're talking like the multi-million-dollar production companies coming in here, making Batman v Superman and making Gran Torino, and we essentially kind of found ourselves, as far as the local people had found ourselves in some opportunities with that, but it was small work rather than, because they already have their people from, you know, LA or wherever coming in to be a part of this production.
Yeah.
So they only rely on the local stuff for the smaller things that, you know, they can kind of find another person in the area. I mean, we have plenty of talent here. Gosh, we have so much great talent here. But when this happened, a lot of that quality left because we did not realize how much we relied so much on them until we saw our independent community, because our community here was affected. Actors were finding themselves in things that were just not working out. Like our independent community wasn't as strong, you know? So we kind of had to help build ourselves back up, because we relied so much on those bigger projects, you know? But as for now, because it has been, you know, 7 years, there's so many independent filmmakers popping up, and they're bringing out quality work, and you can find them on Tubi, you can find them on Amazon Prime, you know, and it's awesome to be a part of this and what's growing into essentially our film community here in the Metro Detroit area.
Wow. So when you and your husband met, was this before you decided to do Painted Creek, or was it just as you guys got together working in the industry and it was like, hey, we see a need?
Well, it started from me seeing him at a bar. He was modeling in a fashion show, okay?
Oh, okay.
Within a year, we were married and had a baby on the way. And then about 2 years into us being married was when we decided on just jumping into it, because at that time, I mean, we were working in the independent community, but things weren't working out because we just didn't have as strong of people around like we had before. You know, people have to find new relationships, and you got to kind of get to know who people really are, you know? Yeah.
And because I see like you guys have done so much, and then we have Taleoftales.
Yes.
Wow. So one of my questions is, I also read that you like to get into character in the transition. How do you prepare for a role, or how do you get into character?
For me, well, I have a few things. I can't really say it's one way because each character is
Yeah.
different, you know.
Yeah.
But being able to step into somebody else's shoes, that's a huge part of playing an actor or being a character and playing as an actor. And the thing is some of these processes are longer, some of them are shorter, some of them are easier to let go, some of them are harder to let go. But for me, depending on the character, I meditate. I find myself thinking, what kind of night would they have? So
Yeah.
some of my characters might be listening to jazz, drinking a glass of wine while watching some show on TV. And so I will do that. I will just kind of bring myself to places where if I know that this is where they're coming from, I can, you know what I mean? It brings the reality to it for me.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's just.
And then I also wanted to touch upon, because I'm like 3 episodes deep into Taleoftales. For the people that have not yet seen Taleoftales, can you give us a high-level description of your character on Taleoftales?
My character is a firecracker. That's what she is.
Yeah.
I gotta say, playing her was very freeing for me because as an actor, you have to be able to let go of all the judgment that you have on this role and this person. And she's a bit of a badass, but she has some things that she has to work through. She's stubborn and she's strong-willed, but how far can that take you in the right direction? You know, like depending on your situation and your circumstances. And I think what you notice, she's kind of in a bit of a spiral throughout this series. She's in a bit of a spiral. There's a lot of emotions going on with her and things that she has to kind of evaluate in herself. And has she really, I mean, she says that she doesn't care about certain things, but does she really not care? You know, there's some things where she has a lot of dimensions, you know? She's like an onion. You gotta pull these layers back.
Pull the layers back. And I know talking to Harley, we talked about, like, again, my timestamp for like when the world just went crazy. The last hurrah was Sue Wong's Oscar Gala. And we talked about how that impacted the filmmaking, the film company, the production company. And surprisingly enough, this was filmed prior, or things were in motion prior.
We were in motion. We were already, so we had this plan of shooting like the beginning 4 episodes, and then we were going to shoot a feature, and then we were going to go and shoot the last 4 episodes. Okay. Well, because of the shutdown, I mean, everything stopped, and we were in the middle of shooting the first 4 episodes. Well, when that happened, the time that we would have shot, we had been shut down for like a good 4 months, right? That 4 months of time was when we were supposed to be shooting a feature.
Wow.
So by the time that we got back, we had to finish the last 4 episodes. So like, we're like, well, shoot, what are we going to, because we were like already wrapped in this, like we were already getting this thing going, and then we had to like juggle things around. And I mean, it's been, as you know, it's like it's halted things, it's stopped things, and the gears need to keep going. If they don't keep going, then the work's not gonna you know. So it's like, all right, this is a process, let's get through this, it was a bit wild in the beginning, but we got through it. And you know, we just actually wrapped that feature that we were supposed to shoot when we were shooting Taleoftales, which is what we're talking about. But we just finally wrapped that feature. So we're like, all right, let's see where things are here. Let's see what's next.
And then the blessing was that it's on Tubi.
Yes, it's out.
So what was, like, as far as from an actress side and then also from a Painted Creek, what was the biggest challenge to kind of overcome or navigate through when just the world stopped?
You know, I think it's kind of a bit of a no-brainer when you really think about it, but it's the money. It's the money. money's coming in, money has, like, you know what I'm saying? And if
Mhm.
it's not coming in, which in that time, everybody knows that it kind of wasn't, because, I mean, we were not like helped out through any program that was out there. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, we don't need to get into that, but like, 'cause that's like all the politics. It's just crazy. This world is just going crazy.
You know what? I didn't even think about that as far as like actors and creators. I didn't even think about that. You're exactly right.
That's really what it is. And the
Yeah.
thing is luckily the ball is rolling. The ball
Hmm.
has been rolling. So we already have momentum, but it's just about making sure to get it out there. And when we were, like I said, we were in the midst of shooting that, we had to get that finished so we could move on.
Hmm.
You know, we had to be able to have this complete product, so that way when we're dealing with all the stuff that we're dealing with now, it's now out there. You
Yeah.
know, we dealt a lot with the distributors and the distribution during COVID, so it's not like we have to be in person during that time, you know,
Yeah.
in production. So it was more about just making sure we could get it finished and pack it up and get it out the door.
And then as far as from a family perspective, how'd your family cope doing all of the craziness?
Oh, well, with that, I mean, we all had a bit of a, you know, a shake in this with our daughters. It was going to virtual school.
Yeah.
Um, that, I mean, they're in the younger grades. They're in elementary, and I feel like elementary especially needs that face to face time.
Oh yeah. Oh
They're
yeah.
very hands on, and they don't have the attention span that the middle school and high school kids have. So it was a bit of a adjustment for them. I mean, they did well. They passed. They exceeded. You know, they're doing great. We're very proud of them. They're doing amazing, actually. And it's nice to be able to say that this time, even though it was crazy, there was a lot of positive. We had so much time together as a family. I mean, as far as just the day-to-day stuff, like, we really were able to enjoy each other and kind of really build a deeper bond that we may not have even been able to get if it
Yeah.
wasn't for time like this.
Yeah, it definitely. I know that a lot of people are reevaluating their careers, and
Yep.
it definitely gave you that much needed downtime and time to reflect and kind of resituate priorities.
Mm-hmm.
So with everything that you do, can you name a highlight in your career, like a moment you're like, wow?
You mean like knowing what, like, this is what you're supposed to do,
Or
kind
just
of
like a
thing? Like,
yeah,
I know I'm supposed to be here in this moment right now, kind of thing, where this is just like soaking it in, like, this is it right here. This is why I do
yeah,
what I do. There's
exactly.
been a lot of those, and especially recently, because I feel like we've had so many good things just happening, like with Tales being picked up by Tubi like this. It's been a, like, this is just like, like, yes, it's great. Like, this is how, you know, like, little things like these little, yeah. And then there's even the, whether it's just completing a project and seeing the material on, and like the visuals, and getting in there, and as a actress falling into these characters and just like
Hmm.
loving them, like, you just get these, like, yeah, I feel those all the time. I hate to say it like that, because like I'm so blessed, but I love what I do. You
Yeah,
know, it's a grind. It's such a grind to do what we do, you know, and especially right now with things being uneasy, and the world just needs to keep going.
because like one thing I admire about you and Harley is you saw a need and you made it happen. And a lot of times people are scared to go out there and do that. Like you guys have your own, you know, company. Um, that is impressive. Like that alone, and then the back catalog of all the stuff that you guys have done is pretty impressive. And then, you know, initially thinking you're like, okay, they're probably in Hollywood somewhere, but no, you're in the Midwest making moves. So that is impressive.
We're
Um,
just like everybody else, you know, living with neighbors next door, enjoying our kids playing outside with them, and you know what I mean. We're lucky. We're very lucky. And it's great to be able to find people in like that are kind of fall into your circle. They kind of come into your circle, and especially lately, because it's grown. Our circle has grown. We've had more
yes.
people coming into our circle, and these people are people who have been successful and, you know, doing things, and like we're all like they're rooting each other on, and it's awesome to be able to start seeing like where it's guiding us and the
Oh yeah.
relationships that we've you know been able to get along the way.
And you pointed out one thing, and then yeah, shout out to Jimmy Starr and Ron
Yes.
Russell. The one thing that
love you
I
guys.
like that whole, like you said, the whole circle. It's all about building a network, building a rapport with people, because you hear so many times, especially with social media, everybody wants to be a celebrity. It seems like
Right.
about the popcorn. People want that instant popcorn relationship or that instant success. They don't realize it's all about building bridges in this a process.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure with what you and Harley have going on, it's a process. Like he broke down about, you know, from a script to getting distribution, it's all a process.
From the very beginning, from the idea. And you know, I'm so lucky. I'm his wife, you know, like him and I, we do this, we're together, we're a unit, and it's awesome to be a part of what he processes, like from the outside, from the very beginning. Like, and I'm a bit of a soundboard for him, so it's really cool to just see how he takes it and what he does with it, you know, and then what I can contribute to it, and the people around us, and what, you know, just what it's amazing. It really takes a community to make a movie, and I have been saying that more the last year of COVID has taught me that it really takes a community to make a movie, because without anybody, who, like, what are we, you know? We need to be able to do this as a unit, but as a community, to be able to bring this thing out there. And it's been amazing.
Wow. And I was going to ask you, like, if you were as a team, like, do you guys have like an idea, and you like you said, you're the soundboard, like, oh, this is good, or maybe it's
Well, for us, a lot of what we do is like a plan, do, review. I don't know if he talked about that. He may have mentioned it, but when we do something, at the end of every project, we look at where we're at. Like, all right, like this is here, that's there. All right, well, what opportunities? Like, what people have come around here and said, like, oh, you know, we can do this, or like, because we've had a lot of people coming to us with stories, or we've been collaborating with writers now, where we've had other writers coming in and being a bit of a team and creating these other projects, you know, and seeing where these projects go. So we're kind of, right now, we're at a place where we're kind of still seeing where we're going next, because we did just wrap that one film, the horror film Beneath Us All. But the thing is like, it's always different. Like every day we're like, we could be more towards one way or more towards another way. But I mean, until things are moving, you know, then we're like, all right, let's do that. All right, then what's next? Okay, let's go back to that. Let's go back to our circle and see, like, you know, what ideas people have, and like collaborate again.
Wow. So it's like you guys get a lot of pitches or a lot of writers, and then you just kind of collaborate. Okay, what are we? Wow, that's pretty cool.
And it all depends on the story, and it depends on, you know, where like if the investors are there and who's attached, and whatever opportunity and discussions we have with distributors to see what we could potentially do with it. Like, there's so many things. It's just, but it's like, it's become our lifestyle. It's not just like our work. We're never not working.
And I remember Harley was saying with Taleoftales, it was presented to you guys, and he's like, well, maybe if we can do some more character development and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome.
That's how it was with Tales. We worked with Tevis Markham and Steve Copera. They had been working on it for a good year prior to even coming to us with this. So it was like, we jumped on board and we're like, all right, let's do this. Let's get this done. And then, you know, now it's out on Tubi and it's doing pretty well. So it's exciting to see like how the audience especially is taking it, because we've had a lot of really positive feedback with Tales, and it's been exciting.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm 3 episodes in and I'm hooked. It's a good series. So to like somebody listening and checking out the movies that you've been in and about your production company, what advice would you give somebody aspiring to be in your footsteps or follow your footsteps?
It is a lot of work. You have to be able to do the grind, because there is so much grind, and there's so many times where people let you down, which I hate to put people in a negative, like in that negative place, but the thing is you have to be able to get through it, and it tests your sanity every day. It truly does. Like if you believe in yourself, I mean, you have to fully commit yourself to go where you feel you want to go with this, because it is a grueling amount of work.
Yeah, remember, you create your own destiny, right?
Yes,
So,
totally. But to say that we've been as consistent with the quality and these projects and them coming out the way that they have been, I mean, we're gaining ourselves a bit of an audience, and it's taking time. Like that's the thing, is a lot of people don't understand, is it takes so much time, and you have to be able to commit that time. And I think a lot of it has to do with having the right support. You have to have the right group around you, that positive energy and that motivation to be able to get through all of those times.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, the time and work is definitely speaking for itself, because I mean, your guys' IMDb, and then just the movies that have been coming out, the movies that you've been in, now tales, the fruits are the fruits are definitely there.
Definitely. But definitely places where you can like find them is like mostly Amazon Prime. But you can search Painted Creek Productions on Google, and you'll see like there's stuff on Vudu, there's stuff on Roku, there's stuff Fandango, there's Apple TV, and then Tales, of course, is Tubi, and there's even other films on Tubi. So if you watch Tales, there's other movies right there on Tubi that are from us. So check them all out. Check us out. We love doing this, and keep it going.
So my last question, and again, thank you for taking the time to come out and just share with us on the radio. It's another great interview. When it's all said and done, and like you guys are getting the Hall of Fame award.
Oh, you're funny.
What do you want your legacy to be remembered by? When they talk about you, when they talk about Painted Creek's production, what do you want to be remembered by?
Oh my, this is deep. I'd say trying to do the right thing as much as you can. And the reason I say that is because no matter what, the right thing is always the right thing. Even if it's hard, just remember that the right thing is always the right thing. And you have to be able to live with the decisions that you make, and whether it's your track record and how you handle people in your company, how you approach things, like all of this stuff is, the thing is the people who know you will know you, and they will know that they can count on you, and they would want to be a part of what you are a part of, because they know that even in the roughest times, right, you've at least tried to do the right thing. So
I'm glad you said that, because I just told my daughter, you have to live with the decisions you make, not anybody else.
Yes,
so I'm glad.
You have to live with the decisions you make, nobody else.
Wow.
But you have to be able to live with them too. I mean, we're all learning, right?
Yeah.
And none of us are perfect.
No.
We do stupid stuff, but let's hold ourselves accountable, and try to do better. That's all you can do. Yeah.
So, and then again, Tales, Tubi, check it out. And another round of selfless promotion. So you said, can they find you and Painted Creek Productions again?
Yes. All right. So most of my stuff you will find on, like I said, Amazon Prime, Vudu, but I would say Tales, and you can find that on Tubi. But search us, Google us, you will find me especially. I'm very active on my Instagram and my Facebook. I'm getting better with my Twitter. But you can follow me at Kaiti Wallen. Painted Creek Productions is our @ for Instagram and for Twitter. So yes, guys, follow us.
Yes, and check it out, Tales. So ladies and gentlemen, again, another great interview with the other half of Painted Creek Productions, actress Kaiti Wallen here on Deeper Than Music. And thank you again for listening. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song is a greater story.